What is up there everyone, it's the guy with the Gamer Tech here, and today I wanted to take a look at the Dragon Valley 2015 map that's been recently added to Battlefield 4. This is part of the free Legacy Operations and it is actually a really fun map. I was quite surprised because this is a very wide open, mostly vehicle based map, but I was surprised at how much fun you can actually have as an infantry player. It doesn't necessarily revolve completely around vehicle combat because there are a lot of areas where vehicles either can't access or find it difficult to access, especially if you're in a tank or an LAV, and I find that quite fun. It means you can actually move between the objectives. I found myself constantly almost playing this game of tug of war or cat and mouse between the B and C flags because I could just go from one to the other and keep capping them and sort of having battles against the enemy team. Then you go along to the D flag, which although it's easiest to get to with vehicles, if you take a heavy armoured vehicle like a tank or an LAV, it's very difficult to capture the point because there's so many buildings. I found myself driving an LAV in there. I captured the flag fine, but I got the LAV stuck on a building and it caused me to be killed. I wasn't too bothered, I actually found it quite funny because even though it's a very vehicle centred map, I was actually struggling to use some of the vehicles, but it was a really nice balance between whether you wanted to use vehicles or whether you wanted to play as infantry, and I did really enjoy that. I was also surprised that I actually enjoyed playing Obliteration on this map. I've never really had a soft spot for Obliteration, it's never really done anything for me, but I played around on Obliteration on Dragon Valley and it actually worked really well. I had quite a lot of fun going on a nice little kill streak with the G36 around where the bomb spawns, and it was just so much fun, and I was amazed that I actually enjoyed it because I've never really gotten anywhere with Obliteration, and generally the game mode seemed to work quite well. However, Noshar Canals, the remake for the TDM section of the map, doesn't float my boat whatsoever. I used to love Noshar Canals in Battlefield 3. It flowed really well and it was definitely a very fun TDM map to play because it was a very nice balance of chaos with a little bit of control. You could predict where the enemies were going to be, but it was still chaotic, and that was what made it fun. And in Battlefield 4 it doesn't quite do it for me. The open spaces that were in Battlefield 3 version are much more open and the close spaces feel so much more smaller. And I admit, most of this is actually due from feedback which was on the CTE version. Unfortunately I never had a chance, I don't have premium, and I don't play Battlefield 4 on PC. I'm a console player so I don't have access to that. And a lot of the feedback people wanted was, why don't you just make it the way it was in Battlefield 3? And yeah, I can get why they would say that because we want it to feel like the original, we want it to have that really fun gameplay, but unfortunately it just hasn't paid off. I find when I'm walking between the containers it just almost feels claustrophobic, everything feels so close together and it just doesn't feel right. I haven't had so much fun on this map and I probably won't go to it very often just because I haven't enjoyed it very much. But overall I really would recommend getting the Legacy Operations. It's free and it is a really fun map, and I have been very impressed with the free DLC that's come to Battlefield 4. Zavod, Graveyard Shift, Operation Outbreak and now Dragon Valley 2015 have all been really fun maps. The only thing that's disappointed me with them is that no servers seem to actually incorporate them in their map rotation. All the servers are just the vanilla maps or just DLC maps. If you want to play any of these maps you have to play them separately. You have to play only Zavod or only Operation Outbreak or only Dragon Valley, and that's kind of disappointing because I'd like to see these in a normal rotation. It'd be fun to play rounds on Shanghai and Locker, then go to Operation Outbreak, then a round on Goldman Railway, then you go to Dragon Valley. I'd love to be able to do that, but unfortunately I can't find any servers on PlayStation which actually allow you to do this, and it is a little bit disappointing. Another thing I wanted to talk about was whether low RPM weapons are completely outclassed and somewhat underpowered in this game, because I've been trying to use weapons like the PP2000, the G36, the QBB, mostly the QBB LMG and the G36 at the moment, and I just find myself getting constantly outgunned when I'm in a firefight. These weapons, when you use them, they feel like they have very little advantage anywhere. I will admit, partly the disadvantage I feel is because I've been using them with a suppressor so I can have a bit of a stealth advantage, because they do so little damage compared to some of the higher rate of fire weapons, because the damage models are very similar in the weapon classes, but of course the ones with the higher rate of fire are going to put more damage down range and have a higher DPS than the lower rate of fire weapons. And I just find that they're completely outclassed, so I try and take a suppressor to give me some advantage in stealth, but then that takes away my muzzle velocity, and that means that actually any long range accuracy is taken away from these weapons. And then I had this moment yesterday. I was using the QBB LMG and the enemy was using an ACW-R, which of course is a very high rate of fire weapon. It fires at 880 rounds per minute, the QBB is at 650 rounds per minute. And I actually managed to get 3 shots on this guy before he dealt any damage to me. I went by it frame by frame. I got 3 shots. Now both of these weapons are a 5-shot kill. I dealt 3 of the shots I needed. I will admit my accuracy was not great in this clip, but he managed to get 5 shots on me before I got 2. Now of course, in a normal firefight, if we are both aimed at the same time and we both start shooting, of course the ACW-R should win. It's got a high rate of fire and it should win because of that. But in this case, I just felt like I was cheated out of a kill. I wasn't so inaccurate that I missed all my shots. At the end, my crosshair was dead on him, even on his head, and I still lost this gunfight. When I only needed to get 2 shots on him, he managed to land 5, and I just felt really cheated out of a kill. And I have so many moments like this, and it's really frustrating for me. I want to be able to use some of these guns. I don't want to just be going around the AEK, the AK-5C guns that are very popular because they are very consistent and fun to use. I want to use some of these slower weapons and just try a different playstyle. Battlefield 4 has been out for more than 2 years now, and I want a new thing, I want a new challenge, I want to do some more things in the game, and unfortunately I can't go to these slower firing weapons because they are generally outclassed. When I actually look at the weapon statistics, I compared the QBB LMG, the G36C for 2 slower firing weapons, compared to the M416, the AK-5C, and the ACW-R, which are 3 fairly popular weapons and fairly strong weapons in community opinion. Now the QBB along with the M416 have 0.5 more maximum damage compared to the other 3 weapons. This makes no effect on the time to kill. Even if you're landing headshots, they are always the same shots to kill. 5 shots without headshots, 2 shots with headshots. It will make absolutely no difference to 0.5. So that means it actually negates any of that effect. It means that the fast firing weapons and close quarters are always going to have a fast time to kill. That makes sense. However, when I look at the time to kill graph, the G36C is outclassed at all ranges. It is constantly the slowest time to kill weapon out of all of these 5 weapons. There is no range where it excels. The M416 has a 700 round per minute rate of fire, the AK-5C 750 and ACW-R 880. You would have thought it, with its 650 round per minute rate of fire, would have a point at medium to long range where it would actually excel, but it doesn't. It is so much weaker than the other guns. I tried not to pick weapons like the AEK and the ACE because they are the strongest weapons, mainly the ACE for its consistency and the AEK for its high rate of fire. But you can generally find that because they have the higher fire rate at longer ranges, you can tap fire them and still get more damage down range than you can with a weapon like the G36, and that is the problem I'm having. The QBB in this comparison has 2 meters where it is actually faster time to kill. Beyond that, it is then immediately outclassed by the M416 and the ACW-R, and that's what I'm saying. These slower firing weapons don't shine anywhere. They don't really stand much chance in close quarters because they have a slow rate of fire, and they don't really stand out at medium and longer ranges, firstly because they're outclassed most of the time by slightly faster firing weapons anyway, and also because when you get to a range where these guns are doing more damage, that's kind of sniper range. You're generally not engaging people with assault rifles or anything at that range. You're engaging snipers, and of course they just one-shot you. So there's nowhere these weapons actually shine. I'm not trying to hate on the game. I enjoy Battlefield 4 and I just want the game to be as good as it possibly can be. And I really think the slow RPM weapons really do need a bit of a buff, either in close quarters or in long range. I think you don't need to meddle with the other weapons because in the meta of game balance in the game, the weapon balance is generally good, but some of these slower firing weapons are just outclassed almost everywhere. They either need a small damage upgrade for close quarters combat so they stand a chance in a head-on-head gunfight, or they need to do more damage over range, maybe in medium range. I'm not saying they should be like doing 4-shot kill out to like 100 meters or something, but I mean that they should keep their damage for medium range, so it means that there's maybe a sweet spot, maybe 20 or so meters from maybe, let's say, 50 meters to 70 meters where these guns absolutely excel, and they have a sweet spot there where they will outdamage an M416 or an ACW-R, and you won't feel like you're constantly being outgunned by any gun that has a slightly higher fire rate than you. But anyway, I want to see what you guys think. I've been having a lot of fun on Dragon Valley, and I really do feel quite strongly about these low RPM weapons really needing a buff, just because it'll give the game more end-game content for people like me who have hit a high rank. I've got no more weapons to unlock, but I do want to use different weapons, and it'll give people a lot more fun things to try and go for. You can mess around with your setups a bit more. But anyway, this has been the guy from the Gamertag, and I'll see you on another video.